Well, obviously a very, very big game. I think, there's some fun to this. I know it's a stressful game for everybody, but it's also a fun game, isn't it? Wouldn't you say?
I mean, this is what it's all about for Service Academy football. I mean, the Commander in Chief Trophy, and this is the first leg. Um, I think both of us have good teams this year, so it'll be exciting. They're playing well. I think we're playing well. But yeah, this is an exciting time. I mean, for both programs, both schools, and it's an exciting time.
The home team has won 8 in a row, I think. Do you think, is there make a big difference of who's to who's home?
I mean, you want to say that you can go to the other side and win. Obviously, that's why you play. But we feel like we're a tough team to beat at home. It's tough to win there at Colorado Springs, um, and it's been a good environment for us. It's the stadium will be packed. It's always nice to have your fans, cheering for you, and the atmosphere at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium when it's packed is a pretty sweet place to play.
So it's rare that two coaches will have coached against each other for whatever this is now, 12 straight years. That doesn't happen often in this business that anybody's at a school that long. Coach Calhoun, I imagine you, over the years, you got to know him not just through personally, but also from watching film. But you know his teams, how they're coached. Can you just talk about that? The fact that you and Troy have gone against each other so many
I
times.
think the word I think about is respect. I got great respect for him. I mean, I know him. I don't know him great.
Right,
I
you
mean,
talked to him before
yeah,
the
yeah. I
game or
mean,
whatever. Right.
we've seen each other at the convention and talked, but it's not like we've hung out or anything. But I have great respect for him because I see how his team plays. They're well coached. They play hard. I know what it's like to coach at a service academy, so I know what he deals with, and so he's had a ton of success. So I just got nothing but admiration and respect for him. This is going to be a tough battle, and it starts with Coach Calhoun. I mean, he's a really good football coach.
I'm doing a feature on Tama, who's a Colorado guy. I mean, that's got to be difficult for Navy to go into Air Force territory. Here's a kid that wants to go to a service academy, and there's one right down the road, and he came all the way out to Annapolis. Do you think that's a big get for you as far as a recruit?
I mean, we're excited to get him. Obviously, he's starting for us. Really good player. Coach Johns, did a really good job recruiting him, and we're ecstatic that he's here. I mean, he's a good player, good kid, good person, and we hope to have a great future by him.
You surprised that he's making this much of an impact as a freshman? That's a position that's hard to get on the field sometimes as a freshman, I would imagine.
Well, physically, he had all the tools. I mean, he's 240 pounds, 240 plus, and he can move. But you never know how guys pick up things. You don't know their grasp, their football IQ, just how quickly they pick things
Yeah.
up. And he's a smart kid, and plus he's got a really good coach coaching him. Coach Volker is a really good coach.
Mhm.
He's helped him along, helped nurture him, and physically had the tools. But you never know as a freshman, and he's doing good things.
I was asking you about something that I talked to Coach Jasper about. He had mentioned that Keenan Reynolds had watched Navy play and said that Malcolm needs to learn to how to avoid hits. Keenan was a master of it. You know, Malcolm's not built like Ricky Dobbs or Zach Abey. What is your thought on that? Do you feel that Malcolm sometimes absorbs hits unnecessarily, and does he need to work on that?
Well, he's a great runner. He's a great, a lot of his stuff, he's a cutback runner. And
Right.
obviously, cut back, there's other people coming. And, we're trying to help him, get down a little bit more. But, I mean, we also don't want to take away from his running instincts because
Right.
he's a great runner. But we also,
And he always feels he can get that extra yard.
yes, but we're like, sometimes you're like, okay, that's enough. You got to get on down. But you can't, it's hard to tell a ball carrier that. But, yes, I'd love for him to protect himself more.
Right. Well, why don't you give us your overall assessment of the defensive performance against Memphis?
Well, some good and some bad. I thought we played really, really hard. There's two big plays in the game that were really the difference on our side of the football. You look at the big run, the first play of the game, the big pass in the third quarter there, where it was kind of a backbreaker. That's half their offensive yards,
Yeah.
And we talk about it all the time. Can't give up big X plays like that. And one of them we didn't make a play, and the other one was on me. And I got to do a better job putting guys in positions to be successful and not asking guys to do something they can't do. So one of those calls was certainly on me. I got to do a better job, and we got to make plays that come to us.
So I'm going to guess that the one you're talking about being on you is having Tony Brown matched up against that receiver.
Correct.
Right.
Which, yeah, I won't get into the details of the call and the schematics there, but yeah, that's not a fair thing to ask him to do in that situation.
Was he supposed to have a help over the top because there was no one?
No, not in that particular
Not
call.
in that
that's
particular
that's
call.
the problem there.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So in that situation, you'd like to have, same.
We
if
need to
you
bring
had-
more than they can block in that situation, and we didn't. So,
Right.
yeah.
The first play of the game, after he got past the first level, there wasn't much on the second and third level. Was it guys that maybe ran themselves out of position on that?
No, we got pinned, and we overran a block. We just didn't fit it correctly, and we had to field pressure on. So the coverage was rotated to the field.
Mm-hmm.
So you saw Kevin and Evan diving at the legs. Those were guys that were chasing it down. We just didn't fit it up right.
So obviously, I mean, it is a difficult situation because on the one hand, you did play very well. I did the math, and I think you held them to 131 yards. If you take away those two big plays, and I also counted the 31-yard pass down the middle for a touchdown.
Sure.
But if you take those away, that's 131 yards to a very talented offense. So,
Yeah.
but you can't take away the big
Right.
plays; they happen.
That's
So,
right.
how do you look at it as a D coordinator?
Well, I mean, just like you said, I mean, we can't give up those big plays. We got to keep everything in front of us, and like I said, I got to do a better job, and we've got to make the plays that come to us.
On a more positive note, you were given short fields a couple times, and the defense came up with big plays that prevented points.
Yeah.
Two in particular, Springer's sack and caused fumble, and Perkins with the sack that led to a missed field goal.
Our kids play exceptionally hard, and they don't flinch. You know, we give it the big run initially, and they had 20 yards the rest of the first half. You know, so those guys play the next play, and we talked about that all the time. They do a great job of responding when they get in adverse situations, and that's who these guys are. So I was really proud of that. Thought we got off the field a couple times when we got put in bad situations, like you said, bad field position for a lot of the night, and all those things considered, take away the two big plays. I thought we played well.
So the message from the D coordinator is, hey, we made a couple mistakes that led to big plays, but overall, because you don't want to take their confidence away. You don't want them
That's right.
coming out of this thinking, we took a step backwards or something like that. So is that kind of what you just say, we're going to fix this and we'll be all right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't see any reason to lose any confidence in the way we played the game. I really don't. Like I said, I've got to take some ownership of some of the calls that I made and fix that. And our guys just got to understand in games like that, we got to keep everything in front of us and not give up big plays.
So now a different animal this week, option football. First of all, I know you have experience against the option, but remind me, what teams did Kennesaw play that were option teams? I know you saw it regularly in practice, but Walford maybe probably
Yeah, certainly played Wofford in the playoffs the last year I was there at Kennesaw. But
their option, right?
sure, and seeing it every day in practice,
Mm-hmm.
you get to know the nuances and what can hurt you and what's good against it. And when I was at Elon, we played Georgia Southern, we played App State, we played Wofford back then. So played several option football teams.
So if I know college coaches well, they're going to go look at those tapes, Air Force, to try to figure out what you would do against an option team,
Sure,
aren't they?
Sure. I think what they may be able to see is us facing gun teams, not under center teams. So there may be something out there they can find if they go back deep enough.
But do you feel you have a good feel for what to do against an option team?
I do. We just got to go out and execute.
With regard to Air Force, I mean, I remember talking to past D coordinators here like Buddy Green and Dale Pearson, and they said that Air Force is famous for a lot of bells and whistles, guys in motion, this going that, and it's all window dressing. Is this something I'm sure you saw on tape already that's the case?
Sure. They do an exceptional job. They're very, very well coached. They're really good at what they do, and then they add some wrinkles to it. And so you got to play really disciplined, eye placement football.
Mm-hmm. And Coach Niemot was mentioning on the teleconference today that they're not doing as much gun, that they're going under center. He thinks that they seem to really be on the same page as what they want to do, how they want to get it done.
Sure.
Are you seeing that as well, Coach?
Yeah, and they're doing a great job with it. I think they had a couple of B-backs that are really good players, and I think they're trying to get those guys cranked up. And everything with that offense, when you're under center, starts with that B-back, and they're doing a really good job. They're coming off football up front. Quarterback's a really good player, and they've got some good A-backs too.